Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Cool Down Lap, presented by Midwest Motorsports. We had a 2-week hiatus there, just to get some things done in our personal lives, but we're back, rested, and ready to go. So to get us started, the Anthony Castor, driver of the number 8 car in the Cup Series, and I'm joined by James Johnson.
Hey, good evening, everybody. I'm James J., the voice of Midwest Motorsports. There's a commentary for the trucks, the road, and the Sunday series.
And we're also joined with Justin Thaler.
Justin Thaler, 00. Currently running in the Road Series, Cup Series, and the Truck Series.
Oh, man, what a weekend. We had the Oval Series and Midwest Motorsports wrap up their regular seasons and go to the championships. Had some real racing. The number 9 breaking a winless streak going back to 2022. It was just overall a pretty eventful weekend. So we're going to go ahead and get into our first segment here with the This Week in Motorsports. James, you want to go ahead and kick us off?
Yeah, man. I'm a Georgia boy, so you know I've got to be happy about Chase Elliott going to the playoffs, baby. Let's go. Pretty excited about that. They blew the horn in the Dawsonville Pool Hall today, and the horn was loud, man. It was great. So I thought the NASCAR Oval Series from Texas was great. I hope we go to Texas forever. It just provided some great racing.
So in years past, Texas has really put on a snoozer, but I don't know what changed over this season. It was some really good racing, and I have to say the best part of that race for me was when Chase took the air off of Denny Hamlin and sent him up into the wall. That was enjoyable. But yeah, no, it's good to see Elliott win, most popular driver. I mean, it's good to see him win. It's good for the sport.
And another Georgia boy, Ryan Sieg from Tucker, Georgia, right up the street from me, about 15 minutes actually up the street. Ryan Sieg almost won that Xfinity race on Saturday, man. Sam, what's his name?
Sam Mayer.
Sam Mayer, thank you. Ran him down those last 2 laps. He ran him down like he was going backwards. So just the difference in the long run and short run, I guess. But I don't know what the magic sauce was, but that was a great finish too. And it's a good day to be a Georgia boy.
So I watched the rerun of that Xfinity race, and I am amazed at how quickly Sam Mayer was able to run him down. It went from like a tenth or two a second to he was taking off half a second a lap there. But Justin, what do you got for this week?
Pretty much just catching up on some F1 stuff. So most recent race was Suzuka. Really was safety car pretty much right out of the rip. Ricardo and Albon kind of got into some issues and caused a safety car pretty early, but pretty uneventful after that. A lot of 2-stop pit strategies by the teams just because of the nature of the track, but no surprise. Red Bull with a 1-2, Max and Sergio Perez. And then Carlos Sainz with Ferrari ended up bringing in the final spot of the podium, but I mean, it was
Leclerc again.
Yep. Yeah, and that makes me happy. But I'm looking at it now, and it's actually more interesting, which I'll just touch on real quick, are the constructor standing. So you have Red Bull in first with 88 points, Ferrari with 71 in second, and McLaren in third place with 45. And behind them is Mercedes in fourth with only 24 points. So
holy cow.
It's very, very interesting. So McLaren, the tail end of last season was really starting to make some improvements, and it's hard for a lot of those teams to carry those tech improvements, into the next season. But looks like McLaren has finally kind of gotten a grip on that in the car, and they have 2 amazing young drivers. But it's going to be hard, I think, even for Ferrari to to really do any type of damage, I think, to Red Bull. But from everybody else, it looks like they're the only ones close enough to compete. So yeah, that's it for that. And then we're over to the Chinese Grand Prix on the 21st this weekend. So
And they haven't been to China for a while, right? A couple of years.
I believe so. Yes, I believe it's been a minute.
I really like that track. I've, only in the EA whatever console games, but that track provides some really good racing. It's really high speed, a couple DRS zones, and it's really challenging as a driver. So hopefully we'll see who's racing for third and fourth again, but 3rd through 7th. And yeah, I'll be watching.
One
On
other
demand,
thing,
of course.
one other thing that's interesting. 11, I think it's 11 out of the 20 drivers all do not have contracts for next season.
Wow.
So, like all of Alpine, all of Haas, Sauber / Stake, AlphaTauri or Visa Cash App, whatever the hell the sister team calls themselves now. But there are a ton of seats open. So it's going to be very interesting with some of these drivers that are contractless and see what happens.
So, are you forecasting a pretty big shakeup on teams this upcoming season, or you think it's kind of going to stay the standard?
I think Danny Rick's probably going to be out. I think the writing's on the wall. I think it's time for people to kind of let that thing go. Let him be. He can be a personality in the sport, but I don't think he's in it to drive anymore. Alpine's going to be interesting because you have 2 French drivers driving for a French team that potentially might be not Alpine if Andretti can get into it. It's just going to be really weird. I mean, a lot of those teams are just not front runners anyway. They're kind of midfield and behind teams. So it'll be interesting. Rumors are that Mercedes has offered Carlos Sainz a contract, but nothing official yet, and he might still be kind of holding out to see the whole Audi situation, the Audi Works situation. Depends on what he wants to do. If he wants to join Mercedes, who are, I think, can still be competent with some breakthroughs in the technical aspect, or if he wants to kind of join a whole new startup type thing and be there from the ground up.
It's
Russell is
interesting
with
to see.
Mercedes next year, right? Russell does have a contract?
Yep. Yeah, he'll be there still.
Does Alonso still have a contract? He doesn't go anywhere, does he?
No, he just signed an extension with Aston Martin, and he seems to be very, very vested within that program. So, and from what I watched today, one of the YouTube channels does a lot of cool behind the scenes type of stuff. That it was a very, and if you kind of follow Alonso, you'll understand. But he just said it's many years. So is that he's driving for the next X and he's going to take on some other type of role within the team after he hangs his helmet up or not? But he seems to be very very invested from his own perspective and into that team. So it's interesting, and they'll be ditching Mercedes and going to Honda in 2026, I believe, when the new engine regs come out. So
he's still competitive, so I hope he keeps racing.
Oh yeah, he can still pull it off.
Yeah.
So, my This Week in Motorsports kind of happened today. It's not in actual live motorsports, but more so inside the Midwest Motorsports Racing League. So an announcement dropped today. We're kind of changing things up on the oval side. We've been running 3 series for the last 2 years, and it's a lot to manage all 3 series. So we're going to cut back to 2 series. We dropped the poll get some insight on how you guys want the oval side of our Sunday series to go and our trucks that run on Friday. But moving forward, we are going to be switching over to no Saturdays. So everybody get their date nights in, kind of hang out at the house and chill and not have to worry about responsibilities or hopping into a race or anything like that. It's kind of a welcome change. I know it's not something that we talked about being a permanent change. We didn't like say Xfinity's going away forever, but for the summer, I feel like it's a good change. What's your thoughts, Jay?
Justin?
Not something we wanted to do, but kind of relieve a lot of the kind of behind the scenes stuff like Anthony kind of spoke to with the admin team. Give us some time off. I think if the participation was much higher, it would have stuck around. But it's not to say it's going to be gone forever, but it could make a return, and there's a possibility we may be racing Xfinity cars just on a different night. Let's just say that.
Yeah, for sure. Along with that, in some of the future podcasts, we're going to be going over some of the rule changes and stuff. So the big shakeups wasn't just with dropping a Saturday series and kind of changing up our Sundays. Well, there's a lot of changes that are going on this season, so we're excited to kind of go through them over the next couple of weeks. I think as we go through these podcasts over the next 3 or 4 weeks, I'm just going to kind of feed some of the stuff in as we go. So that's all we got for this week in Motorsports, guys. If there's anything else you guys want to touch on, we can talk about real quick. Otherwise, we'll just get moving.
We got a lot of Midwest Motorsports racing to talk about, man. Let's go.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and hop into the Road Series. So I believe you guys were off this week, correct? Last week?
Fun run. The boys did a fun run at the Daytona Moto track, little chicane after turn 8. Looked pretty fun.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. So non-points got the fun run last week at the. We actually ran that layout back when we were running the TCR car, and it was a lot of fun in that TCR car. So we decided to revisit it.
How'd it run with the GT4?
I'm assuming it ran pretty well. I actually have been super busy around the house doing some stuff. But probably about as fun and challenging. That infield section changes up quite a bit from the traditional layout there for the Daytona road course. So a little more tighter, real slow corners. But I'm sure it was a good time.
Yeah, I remember running that in the TCR. It seemed like a tough track at the time. Like a lot of those corners are pretty tough.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys going to Spa, correct? That's tomorrow.
Yep. Yeah, we'll be heading to Spa tomorrow, so it'll be a interesting race because it's going to be dark. So the headlights will be getting some use tomorrow night.
Is the race starting in the dark?
I believe just about. Yeah. Yeah.
That's going to be challenging.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be fun though. It's going to be a good time. And any track at night that doesn't have any type of lighting around it is definitely a whole other animal. So it's going to be fun. The track temps should be pretty cold. So,
I don't know, man. There's something about going down into Eau Rouge with just headlights, coming up out of that thing with just headlights. That's kind of terrifying.
It's going to sneak up on you for sure. I just hope the broadcast team is going to be able to see.
Yeah, it is going to be tricky for the camera guy, Adam, to work on the camera instead of just looking at headlights to work on the TV. I think TV3 a lot of times usually does from the back a little more, not necessarily far chase, but like a TV scenic cam. But he's on it. I'm sure he'll do a good job, and we'll find out a way. From a racer's point of view, is there anything you can do field of view wise or contrast wise to help lighten up the track a little bit? Any settings in iRacing that you can adjust when you know it's going to be difficult visibility?
Yeah,
Go with it?
there's some stuff. I know. I think in the NVIDIA control panel, I want to say it is, you can tinker around. It's one of the NVIDIA apps. You can tinker around with the different, uh, contrast settings and gamma settings and things like that. So I personally haven't ever done that, but I don't think you're really going to have much you can do with like the field of view. I don't think that's going to really benefit anybody, but I think there are some tools available that you could probably brighten it up a little bit, but as far as anything else, I'm not aware of anything.
Once you know the track, I mean, it's a legendary track. So once you've done enough laps, you kind of know where everything is. I just, worry about somebody going off track and throwing up a bunch of dust or not being able to see a lap car that, 3 cars ahead before you can pop out and kind of take a look at what's ahead. You might not be able to at night.
Yeah, but, I mean, personally, night racing, I probably tend to be slower just because I am that little extra cautious, even when I do know the track. Maybe I just feel like I'm a little more cautious, but I think once the field spreads out a little bit, it'll be a little bit easier. But like when iRacing dropped the rain, it was, I mean, you had no idea where you were going anywhere. So it's definitely not as bad as wet condition racing, but it'll be a fun one for sure.
You're not going to want to miss it tomorrow night on the Twitch stream. About 7:50, 7:45, 7:50 is when we'll break in with the broadcast. So tune in.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like it's going to be a good one. James, did you want to cover the points, or you want to save that for next week?
No, I'll let you go. Have you got the points? I don't have them in front of me.
Oh, I can grab them real quick if you want to talk about something real quick.
Well, I know that Bloom and Phillips and Coxon, I think, were the top 3 on the pro side, and Ian Bakaitis seemed like he has been doing good lately. So I'm sorry, I don't know off the top of my head. I'm a little underprepared tonight on the road.
Oh, yes, I forgot you were going mobile. Just briefly, have they not come up with a way to do like a night vision camera for the broadcast booth and the chopper?
That would definitely be helpful, right? Chopper cam with night NVG, that'd be great.
It'd be helpful. It'd be helpful. I think only the Aston Martin features the illuminated number plates on the side, if I'm correct, in the GT4 class. Every GT3, I believe, has them, but I think the only one that has them in the GT4 is the Aston, I believe.
Me and Aaron are pretty good at, reading the live timing and scoring, who's racing who. So when Adam switches over the cameras to whoever we're talking about or vice versa, we pretty much can tell who we're looking at until we get to the replays and Rex. And nice. Adam's been doing a good job of sending us a text saying we got a replay of this guy and this guy coming up. So we kind of know what we're cutting to. So, I think we'll be okay on the broadcast. I love the night racing, man. It kind of throws a curveball in and, it's just another little challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I think you guys are challenging the drivers. It challenges the broadcast team. And I think we're all up for the challenge. We like a little mix it up and now and then, keeps us fresh, sharp.
For sure.
Yeah. So I do have the points pulled up here. So what was the top 3 you thought, James?
I thought it was Bloom, Phillips, and Coxon.
Oh, man. Nice job. So Starting in position 1, I'm going to do the top 5 here for you. So position 1 was
Thank you.
Brian Coxon.
Okay.
Position 2 was Jason Phillips. He's 100 points behind Coxon. And position 3, Joshua Bloom, who is 120 points behind Coxon. Position 4 is Travis Rowe, 225 points behind the leader. And position 5 is Jesse Coffey, who is 725 points behind the leader.
Everybody's
So,
dogging the BMW, but Jesse Coffey's been doing pretty good. I remember he had a good run at Road Atlanta, and yeah, it seems to be doing pretty well.
Mr. Consistent.
I commend your memory there, sir. Nice job.
Yeah, love it. Now the AM side I'm not as familiar with, but I believe it's Bacchitis.
Yeah, so you're right there. So Ian Bacchitis is the leader in the AM side over here. Now, this is a shocker for me to come over and look at. Ty Williams. Ty Williams in second place, 5 points behind the leader. That guy, he excels. Like, he puts his nose down, man. He'll run ovals hard. He'll run road hard. That is good to see. I mean, it's bad to see for the oval side because when we hit a road course, the guy's just going to go crazy. But good to see him excel over here. Third, I apologize. I might butcher your name here, but it's Nils Kula, 495 points.
Niles.
Nice.
Niles.
Yeah.
And Nicholas
Calgaru.
Yep.
Oh, guru.
775 points behind the leader. And Dustin there hanging around in 5th. 875 points behind the leader. So good job, drivers. Keep it up. Good luck to you at Spa. That seems like it's going to be a fun one to watch, especially with the lack of lights. So again, best of luck to everybody, and let's see how it all shakes out. So with the road series side of the podcast wrapping up here, we're going to move on to the trucks. The truck series was off in Phoenix over the weekend. Looks like Dustin Reinstedel won the battle there, taking away first place. And James, how'd that race end up shaking out?
Man, the trucks put on another great show. Couple of early cautions, but they sorted it all out and went through the dog leg to start. It was a little bit crazy. Not sure if everybody got the memo about cutting the dog leg before the start finish line, but after the initial start, everything calmed down and they went green. I think that whole third stage went green, and just incredible racing all night through. It was a lot of fun to call. Actually, the whole season was a lot of fun to call. So just happy to be a part of it. And trucks put on a great show week after week. Incredible turnout. Even the last race of the season had like 23 trucks, I believe. So yeah, it was a great turnout all season long and a lot of fun to watch. Congrats to Dustin Reinstedel for winning the race. But I think Ty Williams ended up being the champion. Dustin Reinstedel came in with over 100-point lead, I believe, when the chase started. Missed a couple of races. Ty missed a race, but Ty ended up bringing home the championship when it was all said and done. And like we say, that's why we run the race. And congrats to Ty Williams for the season championship and a trophy in his name on the Discord now. So he's pretty happy about that too.
So yeah, like we mentioned earlier, Dustin came in, won the battle, but Ty won that war. Looks like it came out to a 30-point difference with Ty leading the standings at the end of the chase segment there. Scamia, 82 points behind Ty. Thayer, 112 points behind Ty. Thayer, 139 behind. So that's your top 5 with Hapik rounding out to 195 points behind. So Ty put on a good show there. He is, in fact, the season champ for Truck Series. Hopefully, we're able to get some recruiting races up and going here over the next couple weeks, and we can get some new participants for the Truck Series to come in, get the numbers up, get some new faces in, and I know I posted in the Discord. I'd love for our current Truck Series members, if you guys can make it to these recruitment races, make it out to these. It helps people that come in that don't know the league get an idea of how we race. So be on your best behavior. Don't treat it like an official. Treat it like a league race. And of course, like everybody else, or every other race, go in, be respectful, run your race, and we can get some more members in. We can try and get one of those 43 truck grids, hopefully. But congrats, Ty, on the season championship. And we'll see what next season has in store. I'm going to try to have Ty on here in the next couple weeks as a part of a championship segment. Just have him on. So be on the lookout for that, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and before we stop talking about the trucks, I do want to give a shout out to Nicholas Aslin and Robert Sanders. They've been Nicholas Aslin won the first race. I think it's John Aslin's son. John's been racing with us for a while, but Nick Aslin only had like 6 starts the whole season, so he came in late, but picked it up right away. Won the first race. I think that was Talladega. May have been Daytona Super Speedway. But yeah, ended up second in that race, and then Robert Sanders has been moving up as well. And just it's fun to see, kind of the, I want to say personalities, but the way that everybody's racing against each other. The trucks have had some races where there's 15 cautions, and these last, the whole chase. I think everybody kind of calmed down and realized that it's a lot more fun when you do fewer pacing laps. So it kind of started giving each other a little more space. And even with the big field, the trucks had some really great racing going on. So it was a lot of fun. So shout out to all the truck racers for doing it. And when you do these recruitment races, bring a friend. I'm sure you meet people up and down the road in your sim rig, whether it's doing officials or on Facebook or whoever that might pick up, invite them to come to one of these recruitment races and see if we can get even more people, like you said, Ant, participating in our awesome league.
Yeah, for sure.
If I can piggyback off that, you talked about the new racers and the guys kind of progressing as the season goes on, and it's that's what it's all about, for us here, and it's just super cool to see, those drivers who may have had some struggles or something just didn't click, and see them, just become better and better as the season goes on, and that's what it's all about. So, that makes us all better in the long run. It makes everybody feel good about the watching that develop as well. So kudos to everybody who participates and shows up and just keeps their head down and grind it out.
Yep. And one last thing, I'm just going to kind of, again, piggyback off what James said. I know we had a rough start to the season with a bunch of caution, riddled races, a lot of pacing, but going through, listening to how the races have gone, it sounds like things started to get cleaner towards the end of the season. So let's not regress going into this next season. Started off great. Yeah, started off great. Get those cobwebs out during these recruitment races. Get your practice laps in, and let's start the season off great. I'd love to see a Daytona race where you guys are going green and actually putting strategy into the race, making those green flag pit stops. So, here's to the next season, guys. Good job, and good luck moving forward. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to Xfinity, which was also at Phoenix. It looks like Brandon Thayer won the race there. Good for him. I know he's been running pretty hard in that series. I know a handful of podcasts ago, he was one of the guys I was saying, along with Ty, they're one of those up and comers that are new to the league and running hard. So it's good to see him win a race. The last race of Xfinity, so you can put that over the mantle in the fireplace, or in his office. I've seen he's doing that now. So for the points, it looks like Dustin ended up coming away with the championship. Mike Scamillo was 145 points behind. Brandon Thayer 152. Corbin Fleckenstein 249, and Clarence Prince 293 in the grand scheme of things. So great job, guys. It was a great end to the Xfinity series. I know we didn't have the numbers to really put on the most exciting races. I know for the guys in the races, they enjoyed those nice long green flag runs. But again, we had to we had to shelve it for the time being. So, congrats, Dustin, on winning the season championship for the Xfinity Series. As it goes on to hiatus, you can also put that over your mantle in the golf bag, wherever you want to put it.
Yeah.
And until Xfinity Series comes back, you're the reigning champ, man. So the Cup Series, it's also at Phoenix. That was a interesting race. Clean. I don't think we had too many cautions. I think Turtle got on the track at one point towards the end of the race. Did anybody else see that Turtle? Got flipped upside down.
You know, the broadcast missed it because somebody wants to be the same number as the pace car. So maybe
He's
it's a
got the
blessing.
coolest number.
Maybe it's a blessing in disguise,
Yeah.
or maybe it was planned. Who knows?
It's traditions.
Yeah, can't break those traditions. I get it. But you know, before that, I got to say, there was a lot of strategy that played out. Dustin Reinstetter won the first stage, and as they came in, Mike Samia, unlike Mike Samia, qualified seventh, and so I think he finished. He was in the top five at the stage, I believe. I can look back at my notes, but as he came in, he's not used to being in the seventh pit stall, so he completely missed his pit stall and just drove right on through. Missed his lollipop ban, so he did not take tires or fuel. Did not get to stop, so that immediately put him off strategy. But as the second stage began, he held the lead for quite a few laps. Um, I think it was over 20 laps before he had to finally come in and get fuel. And so that immediately threw Mike Samia off strategy. But there weren't really a lot of cautions. I thought it was pretty amazing. But what I was really watching, and if you've seen the replay, the Twitch stream replay, which will shortly be up on YouTube, from the beginning as the cars were rolling out, I knew the race to watch was going to be for second in the overall championship between Ant Caster and Ty Williams. So they were 1 point apart going into the race, and with Justin JT only 8 points further back. So there's really a three-way battle for second in the points, and stage points played out where Ant and Ty were second and third in the first stage and third and second in the second stage. So it was all about that finishing position. And coming down to it, it was insane. What was it like before we talk about the turtles? But I mean, and Justin, you had an eventful race with a number 4 car as well. And let's see, Aaron Holroyd, my buddy, my commentator on the Road Series, and it was in the 73 car, and he was having some great battles too. And he got crossed up in the transition of the tri-oval, the dog leg, instead of going right at the start finish line or just before it or just after it, kind of went past it, and then right at the peak of the tri-oval, that transition down to the apron really threw him off and crossed Aaron up once, and he barely missed the wall by, I mean, inches. And I think that's what ended up getting you. Is that right, Justin?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just great racing up and down the field. What was it like? You guys were in the cockpit. I was on the outside looking in. You want to tell us about your race, Justin? Then we'll get to Ant.
Sure, I guess. I was performing better than what I had thought. I think I got fifth in both stages. Probably pitted way too early. On tires on the last stage. I think I pitted with like 20 to go. I should have maybe tried to go down a little further so I had a little more fresher tires. But I think on like lap 7, lap 6, my race was over. So just hit the transition wrong going down into the dog leg, and I lost it hard and just went right into that inside wall. So but that's okay. I left and joined some better company than what I was with. So got to hang out with you. I didn't have to listen to Dustin do his unremarkable Denny impersonation about he's the best there ever was. And surprisingly, I didn't have any issue with the 8 car, Anthony, which I haven't in quite a while, but our resident Ross Chastain, Jason Huffman, has kind of taken over that role the last few weeks with me, but that's okay. I mean, it was a fun race. I think the strategy was there. I think you could definitely tell the strategy. There was drivers pitting all over the place under green flag stops, and that's what's really fun about that Cup Series is just how clean it is, and with the way the stages, especially were last night. You were either going to take tires too early if it was a green flag stop, but then you were definitely going to pay the price, and vice versa. You know, I didn't take tires after the first stage, and then I kind of split stage 2 to where I took tires under the green flag stop. So it was fun until it wasn't.
Did you actually go on your lid and flip over? Did you hit the nose with the wall or the tail with the wall?
I nosed in pretty hard. So I don't really want to have to change my number because I want to have the same number in all the series.
No, that's okay.
But I'm going to tell you, I have contemplated it. But we have so many road drivers where it might not be really feasible to change it up. So we'll see. Maybe if something's available on the roadside, then maybe I can grab on the oval as well. I want
to give you the screen time when I can. There was just nobody around you at the time. I couldn't really get a view on the replay. Yeah,
but it was fun having you in the booth. I was totally spinning and sliding up on my roof, and then Dustin, being Denny, says, "Why don't you tow?" And if you don't know how iRacing works, you have to be completely stopped to tow. It doesn't matter if you're not on your wheels or not. Your car can't be in motion. So I'm sitting there holding the tow button on my damn steering wheel, and I'm like, "Well, what do you want me to? I can't brake. Like I'm on the roof. I'm on the hood. So why don't you just pipe down there, Denny? Just go about your business. Just go about your business and worry about yourself."
He's trying to drive his car and your car for you, too,
right? He knows best.
Danny always knows best.
Well, he was leading. He had a couple of seconds lead, and then this brought out the caution. And Ty Williams, again, going for second place in the championship for, I think, the last 4 laps coming up to that caution. We're having an amazing race. It was really, really fun to call. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. And you were crossing over. You were on the inside one lap, and then the dog leg, you guys would switch, and he was on the inside and you were on the outside, and you never touched. It was just back and forth and back and forth. I was hoping it was going to go all the way to the end, but when it didn't, I wasn't disappointed either. And you ended up starting on the front row, right, Ant?
For the final restart.
The final restart.
No, I was third place. I was right behind Dustin. Yep.
So you had the inside. Ty Williams got passed by the 4 car on that green-white checker, and he finally got around him on that last one. So then coming to the flag, I was taking the Hats to Victory Lane for the 11 car. And next thing I know, Ty Williams is right on your bumper, and you must have seen him coming. I don't know. You want to take it from there? Or you want me to tell you what I saw?
Go ahead, tell me what you saw, and then I can throw in what I did.
Well, what's that? Is it Taylor Swift who says I come in like a wrecking ball? And you're
Oh,
just the black number 8, just going for broke. It's the last lap, last corner, end of the season, coming for it. And I mean, you were right on that yellow line. JT called that, and put the power down. And Denny Hamlin just didn't get off the corners like you thought he was. And you guys ended up getting into it. And then behind you, it was 80, Mike Samia and Ty Williams and Jason Huffman finishing out, heading for the pit wall
yeah,
sand barrels and cashing each other out.
yeah. Pretty close. You're pretty close. So
I saw vehicular manslaughter.
Vehicular manslaughter.
on the restart,
Murder.
yeah, on the restart, my plan was to get right on Dustin's bumper and give him a good shot, just to get him out in front of Ty, because I knew for a points setup, I had a better chance of, I guess, Dustin kind of holding up both of us and going for the win than not shoving Dustin out and Ty getting around him and then me having to get around Dustin. So I was like, if anything, I can stop the bleeding by shoving Dustin out to the front, and I can try to get around him in turn 1. He's got older tires than me by, I think, about 4 or 5 laps. So we'll give it a shot. So I shove him out. He gets his distance. I clear Ty. And going out in turn 1, I'm like, all right, I'm going to stick it low. He has older tires. He's going to wash up. Well, Dustin doesn't wash up. I go into it a little hotter than I should have, and I couldn't hop on the brakes because it was weird. Jay, I don't know if you were feeling it. I know Dustin talked about it, but as the race went on, it felt like as you started getting on the brakes, the car would start to slide. You'd unsettle your car, and it'd start to slide through the corner. So I was at a point where I was carrying my speed through the corner, and I felt like if I got on the brakes much more, I was going to start sliding. So he didn't wash up as much as I thought he would. And as soon as I started to get back on the power, he was just there. And that hit was a lot harder than what I thought it was going to be. Ended up sending him up, unsettled my own car, so it was definitely hard, and spun myself out. So, I apologize to Dustin about it. I mean, again, I kind of thought he would wash out a little bit harder with those older tires, and he just didn't. He stuck that bottom pretty good. But you know, he ended up winning the championship out of the whole matter. I ended up bringing home 3rd place, I believe, in points. So it's an improvement over last couple seasons. So I can always move on next season and try to improve upon that.
I don't think you took him out on purpose. But and I mean, again, you guys are going for the win. And if he'd have just started pushing up just a little bit, I mean, he parked it on the apex, so he was doing his job to keep you behind him. And if you hit him square, I don't know that would have, changed the outcome. I think you still. I'm sorry. I think he still would have had a hard time beating you to the line if you hit him square. So I mean, it was one of those things where it's just a matter of millimeters, left or right, whether he loses control or is able to keep control and push him up in the wall, and you can go right on by. So I think you had to do something. Nobody wants to just follow somebody else to the checker flag, right? So
Yeah, it was definitely a fun race, though. I'm happy I didn't catch that transition lip that JT hit. I've I've hit that a couple times, and it's really unforgiving in these next gen cars. Like as soon as you hit it, like the whole car just goes sideways. I don't know. It seems like if you get a little bit closer to where that apex is, that's where it happens more so than if you come right off of what is that, turn two?
Fourth. Yeah.
Turn two's the dog leg, or is that turn 4?
Turn 4?
3. Turn 3.
Whatever the hell it is. Phoenix
Yeah.
So
drives
when
me
you're
up the
going
wall
into the dog,
anymore.
before you go into the dog leg, if you can carry that corner down near the end of where pit lane would be, wash up towards the wall, and then immediately go down towards the apron of the dog leg, I felt like that was always the smoothest entry. Like the later you hit that dog leg, you're setting yourself up to go sideways. And I mean, it's a tradition now. Justin has hit at least once every race, and I'm just happy I wasn't back there to get collected in it this time. But it was a fun race. Phoenix has slowly been growing on me.
Hey, were you shifting at all?
Yeah, I was honestly, so what I started doing at the beginning of the race, I was shifting down to 4th. I'd put it in 5th coming out of the dog leg, and then I'd shift down to 4th, and the only time I'd shift up would be coming out of the dog leg. But towards the end of the race, I want to say like the last 50 laps, I just kept in 4th the whole way around the track.
I was toting around in 4th pretty much all race. 4th and
Yeah.
3rd.
I felt like, I didn't touch 3rd, but I felt like 4th was probably the smoothest that car ran, was just staying in 4th. How was 3rd? Was you getting a lot of like wheel spin?
No, I was just getting better rotation and I guess a little more drive off of the corner.
So were you going into 3rd and turn 1?
I was using 3rd in both corners, especially as the tires were going to the whatever that was, a turn 4 before the start finish, or did they call that like 2.8 or something stupid? In Phoenix, I don't know, but yeah, once the tires were wearing, I was using 3rd every corner of the track.
Man, yeah, I don't think I touched 3rd at all, except for getting back up through the gears after restarts. But
Did you find coming into 4, like a lane and a half up was the better after the run started going?
I felt like you could carry more exit speed a lane and a half up, but I also felt like I was killing my tires more that lane and a half up. Like I felt like I could wrap the bottom, go into it, wrap the bottom, let the car stall down to a point where it's turning more, like it's stalling out and turning. Then when you get on the throttle, it's still turning, but you aren't killing your tires. And honestly, I felt like that was the best line for me. I tried going high later in the race. James, I don't know if you noticed, but I was throwing a couple, I don't want to call them blocks, but I was definitely lane blocking Ty a handful of times. Because I noticed, I noticed like I think it was 4 or 3 and 4, whatever that corner is, he would go like middle high. And I was like, all right, I'm going to start throwing it up there, and I'm not going to be able to run as fast as him, but I'm going to slow him down, because there ain't no way that I'm going to be able to keep him behind me running the bottom, because he was pulling so much exit speed, he'd be able to pull up beside me. Yeah. But it was some fun racing, because you're doing a lot of rear view mirror driving just to make sure, like, yeah, I'm in his lane. Oh, he's moving down. I'm going to have to move down.
There were some times when Ty would not even take the dog leg and just stay on the banking through that dog leg and roll a lot of speed on entry into that next turn, whatever number we're going to call it. And it seemed to really help, but then he had to back it down because he was carrying so much momentum that he ended up being 2 or 3 lanes high. So I think everybody was experimenting with different lines and whatever was working. And I don't know. And you were up front most of the whole race, man. So I don't know why you're looking for advice from everybody else, man. Maybe everybody needs to be asking you what you were doing and taking your advice because you were right there, man. You were rolling. You caught Dustin those last couple of laps. So I don't know. I just think I was just happy to call the race. And I mean, regarding taking other people's lanes and shoving them up high, one thing I did notice in the truck race was that some guys were coming through that last corner across the line and trying to stay on the apron, and the guy on the outside would try to take the dog leg and caused a couple of cautions coming across their nose of them. So that happened a couple of times in the trucks, but it did not happen a lot in the cups. So yeah, I think just that racing awareness is something that you learn from the experience, and another reason why that cup race was so exciting all the way to the end, man. It was great.
Yeah, that's I guess one thing I can appreciate about our cup guys. Every one of them, like if you, I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. If you put them in like situations, like I've had people try and pass me on the inside. I think was it McLaughlin? I think went through 3 and 4 a couple times, and he'd like try and pass me on the inside. You can hold them on that bottom line if they have those newer tires, and they take it as fun racing, which is how it should be. Like if I'm passing somebody, I want them to make it hard. I want them to make me a better racer. So anytime I'm in that situation, I'll hold them down low. That way they ain't running me out to the wall and taking my real estate. And these guys they're up to the challenge because they'll stick there with you. They ain't giving you that extra space. You can't come down anymore. You really hold them down there too much because you have to give them that same respect, and then you both wash out towards the wall. Whenever you can race with people like that and know like on the inside they ain't going to just clean you out,
Yeah.
that's what I appreciate. And there was a lot of that at Phoenix where I even had it with Ty, where you can go through a corner and you both are side by side and you know like, hey, I'm going to run you hard and it's going to be clean. And that's what I can appreciate about this.
Unless it's turn 4 and we're coming to the flag.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, and it's Dustin.
Oh, and it's the 11. I got you.
If I remember correctly, somebody said that in the broadcast, the 11's always leading, the 11 always finds his way to the front. So, I mean, he had to get a shot once this season.
Yeah, all good. Oh, it was great, man. I would have. I'll give you a hard time if you didn't go for it.
Yeah. Again, great job, Cup guys. It was a fantastic season. Everybody that participated, y'all did a great job racing. I'm going to say the same thing I said about the trucks. Going into next season, let's not regress. Let's take this good, hard racing, clean racing, start the season up. We're going to hold recruitment races for cups, so anybody that wants to join in, please join in, show how clean this series can be, how fun it can be, and how hard we race, and we'll be getting some numbers. So keep your eyes out for some recruitment races. And I know we've been rambling on about this race. Congrats, Dustin, on the season championship. You earned it, man. Let's see how next season treats you with all the new racers we've been bringing in throughout the season. So, congrats, bud. Good season.
Yeah, and don't forget to fill out the poll on the Discord if you haven't already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so in the Discord, if you go under the announcements tab and the information channel, you guys will find the poll for the Season 7 Truck Series and the Sunday Oval Series. If you guys plan on participating in these series, go ahead, fill out the polls. It's just the Season 7 trucks is really going to entail the different tracks we're going to visit this season. If you guys have something nice to say about the admin team or something you feel the admin team can work on, go ahead, put it in the bottom. We'll look at it. And then the Oval Series, we're looking at new vehicles. We got the Gen 6 up for vote, the next gen, and the Xfinity series as a vote. If you guys have not voted yet and you have no experience in any of these other cars, I implore you to go run a test session in each of the vehicles just so you get an idea going into it. All the vehicles are great choices. So, I mean, whatever you choose isn't going to be a bad idea, but again, try out all the vehicles and then make your vote. JT, do we know about how long that vote's going?
Probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then pretty soon all the roles will get kind of well, we'll release the resubmission. So driver numbers, manufacturers, if basically it's like re-signing up as if you were never here. We'll release that internally to everybody, and then once that'll go for about a week, and we'll reassign roles and numbers and all that other good stuff within our current driver base, and then we'll be doing the recruitment.
Yep. So the recruitment races are always kind of laid back, fun. We pick a good track, something that can show off everybody's skill, and try to keep it so it's a clean race. We probably won't run any super speedways just because those are usually a mess of accidents. So keep an eye out for it. Again, as we go through the podcast over the next couple of weeks, I'll pick some things to talk about with the upcoming seasons or the upcoming season changes, and we'll slowly get you guys up to date on what's going on with changes. So, aside from that, is there anything we missed, guys?
No, I just want to thank everybody who's played their part. Really hope everybody stays around with us and kind of see what we're about here, and have noticed if you've been here, how we kind of do things, and the passion we have for the sport of racing and sim racing and everybody, and just the appreciation for everybody willing to be a part of this. I know some things aren't always perfect or go, as some people would plan, but I hope it stands out, how we're kind of a no nonsense, and there's no preferential treatment to anybody here, and everybody gets treated fair and equal. So, hope everybody sticks around, and really hope we get quite a haul of new drivers who want to join up with us.
For sure. So, with all that being said, guys, keep up the great work, and we'll go ahead and put an end to this podcast, and we'll catch y'all next week.
Yeah, thanks everybody for listening. Stay in your lane.